Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We'll start with the Vasamsi Jirnani and try to, sorry, something got stuck. Vasamsi Jirnani yatha vihaya Navani grahanati naroparani Tatha sharirani vihaya jirnani Anyani samyati navani dehi Nainam chindanti shastrani Nainam dahati pavakaha Nachainam kledayantyapah Nashoshayati marutaha Achedyoyam adhayoyam akledyo shoshya evacha nityah sarvagatah sanuhu achaloyam sanatanaha avyaktoyam achintyoyam avikaryoyam uchyate tasmadevam viditvainam nanushochitumarhasi. All right. So we'll start with this, continue with that Vasamsi Jirnani. So we understood the meaning, right? Because as the body discards the old clothes, the Atma also discards old bodies and takes up new body. That part is clear. Now the question was, is it talking about Jiva or is it talking about Atma? So if we look at continuation from 11th verse onwards, and this should go on till 25th, this is all talking about Atma only. If you look at previous verses or Najayate, Indriyate, Vakadachit, all that is just talking about Atma only. So how come in the middle they can plug in something that is talking about Jiva? There are two ways to look at it. One is to contextually, it is talking about Atma. That part is clear, right? Now, if you think that, okay, you know what? I don't buy that. Maybe Krishna decided to randomly throw something in between. And so if we take it that way, there is in the Western philosophical system, there is something called dialectical thinking. Dialectical thinking means there are two opposing views. One is that, when we think of something and we believe it is true, then we reject everything else. So if I say, I believe in something very strongly, so everything else I can reject. But dialectical thinking is where we are actually saying that, this is correct. And maybe the opposite view is also correct. That's one way to look at it. And I thought I'll just use my whiteboard today. I have not used it in a long time. So I'm going to try doing that. If you can, so then I can explain it through that. And while it is coming up, so let's say it is talking about Jiva. Let's just assume, for the sake of assumption, let's assume that it is talking about about Atma, then, so I mean Jiva. So what is Jiva? So let's say we are talking about Jiva. What is Jiva? Jiva is equal to Atma plus all the upadhis. Upadhis is conditionings. I'm just going to use upadhi. So what are the upadhis? Upadhis is sorry. So we have the antakaran, which is basically intellect, mind, senses, prana, and body, right? So these upadhis, basically they are part of Prakriti. Okay, that's clear. Now, when this is part of Prakriti, that means they are subject to change. They are subject to, change, modification. So all these will apply to, because they belong to Prakriti. So all these rules of Prakriti will apply to all of this, right? So which means if we take one by one, if we say, okay, that we are talking about Jiva here, then this application, this is constantly changing anyway, So this means it is only Atma that is accepting a new upadhi. So any upadhi that we have, so today we have this upadhi, then next time the Atma can decide, okay, just like it is changing, the body is changing the clothes, same way the Atma is going to take up another upadhi. That's all it means, right? So if we understand that logic, then also this this verse is about Atma and not about Jiva. You get it, or do you want me to explain it further? So, oops. Did I? Okay. So this is what we have to understand. So it cannot be the upadhis. So if it is not upadhi, the only thing remaining is Atma. So that way also we can conclude it is talking about Atma. So just to explain what is dialectical thinking. Dialectical thinking is, say, suppose I say sun is stationary, it doesn't move. The other person says, you must be kidding me. I every day see the sun rise and sunset. So how can you say that it is? So my experience is different. My experience is this is not valid. What you are saying is not valid. So you are wrong. I am right because I experience it every day. But his reference is Earth, right? Because he's sitting on Earth, or he's on Earth and Earth is rotating. So he's experiencing something which is not factually true. You get that? So that is where we have to see with what reference are we talking about. Okay. Any questions on that? We'll come back to a similar one later on. But actually, I want to also, because we have talked about, let me see if I can just erase everything in one go. In the past, from 11th verse onwards, we talked about whether it was Jivi or, let me write it in Hindi, Shariri. So this basically was representing Atma or I, the big I, the real I, or the absolute I. Okay. Now, sorry. This part is clear. Now this is going to live through, we talked about Chidabhas. We talked about Antakaran, which is the mind. Mind includes all the other subtle thinking things like intellect, the mind, the chitta, and the ego. All these, I'm just like kind of clubbing it into the mind. And then we were talking about the pranas and the body. Now, this GV is living through them, means it is actually powering them through Chidabhas. Chidabhas is the reflection of Atma. It is the abhas of this Chid. Chid is the consciousness. So this consciousness is at an individual level. And this is at a absolute, or we call it samashti, or we can say totality. So at an individual level, this Atma as Chidabhas is powering the mind, which is powering the pranas, which is powering the body. So we feel that everything is alive from mind to the body. Body means every part of the body is alive because now Chidabhas is living through it. So when they say that Atma decides, okay, you know what, this body is not of much use to me anymore. I want to get a new body, or my vasanas require me to get a new body. Then this body will be dropped. By who? By this Chidabhas mind combo. Pranas go back to the space, and new pranas will be used. But Chidabhas and the Antakaran, which includes the mind and senses. So that is what will be using a new body. But basically all this is nothing but upadhi or conditions. And these conditions they are constantly changing. They are subject to change all the time. Is that part clear? Just say yes or no. If it is clear, then we move ahead. Nirupama ji, any questions?
No. So just to make sure, so the Atma with the Chidabhas plus mind plus senses decides to drop the body and go into a new
Take
body.
Up a new body. Yeah,
this
is what this shloka means also.
So that's why when we say somebody has died, it's only the physical body is dead, but the mind and senses, they continue on to another
Exactly.
Okay.
They are all driven by, they are all driven by the vasanas. Vasana means the desires or the samskars or the whatever जो इच्छाएं हैं हमारी, they basically drive us to the new body.
So senses is part of the
Antakaran.
Antakarna.
Yeah.
That's why after death one can still sense and feel before rebirth happens.
Well, these are hearsays, so we are not going to get into that. What they feel or not feel between one body and the next body. That's a subject of another discussion. And we'll get to that one day, but not today. But yes, the senses are part of this Antakara. Okay, let's move on. I am going to.
So Rajiv, Chitta,
I can start a new one.
But Rajiv, the part that goes on also includes Chitta, no? The repository of the vasanas and the past impressions. That'll be
Yes. Chitta and Ahankar. So Chitta and Ahankar, they all move as one package. But remember that it is also conditioning. It is not eternal.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. Okay, let's move on. Let me just stop this share. Okay, so now let's go to the. There was another objection in Shankaracharya. This is, we have as a body, we have this choice when to change the clothes. We can decide, okay, you know what, now it is, I need to get a new set of clothes, or I just want to throw this in the washer and take up new clothes. That's a choice I have. But getting a new body or what kind of body, I have no choice, right? So that is one objection. The reason being, let's put it this way. So I can choose when to change my clothes, but I cannot choose when to drop this body or take up a new body. That is in the realm of dharma, karma, and avastha. And the reason I'm saying all these things is that we don't have any choice on that. So that means this example is only valid if we are talking about Atma. See, Atma has a free will. Atma is beyond any cause and effect relationship. It is neither the cause nor the effect. So when we talk about anything that we have no control over, that means we are not talking about Atma. So you understand, with three different ways of looking at it, what I was saying. So that's about this verse. Okay, let's move on. Now,
but Rajiv, okay. One quick thing. You mentioned earlier that mind, what we call mind and all that is like Prakriti. Matlab, it's powered by Atma. But Prakriti, my naive understanding, Prakriti is like what happens, or it's not like we have control over it or something like that, Prakriti. But choice, where does Purusharth or choice fit into that model? That if we say mind and Chitta and Ahankar, etc., are all Prakriti, meaning it's happening, then what is the source of Purusharth then?
Source of Purusharth is your the will to work. So when you are actually we don't have a control over what has already happened, right? Whatever has happened is our prarabdha only. But choices we make on a daily basis. of what we do and what we don't do. This can come from our mind, from our, we decide based on if we have the right understanding of Shreyas and Prayas. That means what is good for the in a long term, or is it for a immediate gratification? So if it is for a immediate gratification, then it may give us instant pleasures, but it is not a good thing for a long term. That's what it boils down to.
That part I understand. But if we call that ability to make a choice and like a free will or Ichha Shakti and all that, but then we would not call it Prakriti, na? Because we're calling it Purusharth.
No, Purusharth and Prakriti are not opposing each other.
Okay.
Prakriti actually includes both Purusharth and Prarabdha.
Oh, okay.
Atma has no Purusharth or Prarabdha, right? It is not doing anything. It's not in the realm of karma. Anything in the realm of karma will go through this Purusharth and Prarabdha. As long as I think I am this individual Jiva with a body and mind, I'll be driven by my samskar, by my desires, and I will go through the karta bhav and bhokta bhav. So I'll be karta and bhokta. As long as I am doing that, I have prarabdha and purushartha. The moment I realize I am that Atma, then there is no purushartha or prarabdha.
Sure.
Because there is no karta bhav and no bhokta bhav. As long as karta and bhokta is there, then the purushartha and prarabdha come into play. Otherwise, they have no meaning, actually. For a realized master, he'll say, what are you talking about? So only Jiva means the conditioned self. The conditioned self will go through that.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. And Madhu Anandji is here. Hi, Madhu.
All right. So let's move on to the next one. Did we chant that? Okay. Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavaka. This is a very famous, this and the next one, people use it to explain Atma, a lot of times. Nainam dahati pavaka, na chainam kledayam tyapo, na shoshayati marutaha. That means, nainam, na enam means not enam is this. This means we are talking about Jivi and the Shariri, the Atma basically. So this Atma cannot be cut by any Shastra, which is basically saying that there is no, that means it is indestructible. Let's put it that way. Atma is indestructible. Nainam chindanti shastrani. Then it means, and I'll explain more about it. Nainam dahati pavaka. That means fire cannot burn it. That's another way of destroying it. Nacha ainam. Nacha ainam means that, and also it cannot be wetted by water. That means water has no impact on it. Na shoshayati maruta. And the air cannot dry it. Now think about it, why Bhagwan had to use, he could have just said it is indestructible. But what he's trying to say here is, which is very important to understand, it's a meditative verse. Wherever we use enam here, enam means this Atma, Bhagwan is trying to repeat, instead of saying Jivi and other things all the time, Shariri, he just uses enam, this Atma, you replace it with aham, I. So this I cannot be cut by the Shastras. It cannot be destroyed by Shastras. It cannot be burnt by fire. It cannot be wetted by water, and it cannot be dried by air. So now think about Panch Mahabhutas. So Panch Mahabhutas are made up of space, air, fire, water, earth, right? So here Bhagwan uses 4 of the 5. So he says earth. So all the Shastras are made of earth matter, right? Earth means anything that is solid. So Shastra cannot destroy it, which means earth has no impact on the Atma. The fire has no impact on Atma. The water has no impact on Atma. And the air has no impact on Atma. So you can ask Bhagwan, why not use the space also while you are, referencing of 4 of them? He says space cannot destroy anything anyway because it is asanga. Nothing touches space. Space is there, which gives avakash to everything else. Avakash means it gives opportunity for everything else to exist. So that is what space does. So all these 4 elements cannot destroy it, which means it is beyond these 4 elements or the 5 elements. That's what the Atma is described here. So everything, basically the body, everything is made up of earth only, right? The food is earth. So we eat food, this becomes body. The food becomes body. So it is all basically the same earth matter, which is manifesting in this form right now. So
but
actually,
Rajiv, as you were just explaining, Atma absolute, of course, cannot be, it's eternal, unborn, everything. But in this case, can we also say that Atma plus the Chitabhas, the personal Antakaran identification, even that is also indestructible? Matlab, only the physical body can be destroyed, but the Antakaran and all that kind of stuff, that is also indestructible.
Antakaran also belongs to Prakriti only. They are also subject to destruction. We may think, okay, it is not, but it has a long life, but it doesn't mean it is not subject to that.
But in this context, in this context, does it not go from one lifetime to another? The Chidabhas plus Antakaran?
Yes, it does. It does. It does. But just like the same body has gone through many, we can say every day we sleep. That is the actually different set of experiences, right? Same way when we wake up, every day we wake up, we are a different person actually. But because of our samskar, we think, okay, it is just a continuation. The body is constantly changing, but we don't see that change. Right?
Yeah.
The mind is constantly changing also. Our thoughts are constantly changing. Our intellect is constantly changing. Only thing that is not changing is Chidabhas. Chidabhas is Chidabhas is nothing but Atma alone. It is just, see, it's like electricity is there everywhere, right? But when I have plugged it into my computer, it is only powering this computer. So this electricity, which is available everywhere, but it is now powering this computer. So that means that for this computer, the electricity is now localized. But electricity is no different than the main source of electricity. Just an example, All right.
Okay, thanks.
Sure. Now, one thing we can say, why is it that these matters cannot destroy it? One thing is the cause of all the Mahabhuta, which means the space, air, fire, water, earth, their cause is also Atma. The Atma alone actually has kind of powered these Panch Mahabhuta also. So Panch Mahabhuta the effect cannot destroy the cause. So like the bangles cannot destroy the gold, right? The pot cannot destroy the clay. Same way the Panch Mahabhuta, which is the effect, cannot destroy the ultimate cause. which is the Atma. Because if it is Sarvagata, that means it is in every atom of this universe. It is in every atom of this Prakriti also. You get that? Or let me put it another way. If I am saying that it cannot be destroyed by any matter, right? Because it is not a matter. But also I am saying that the matter itself has the ultimate reason for the matter to exist is the existence itself, which is Atma. The Atma is the Sat, right? We see the Sat in everything. We see Sat in paper, we see Sat in table, we see Sat in everything, right? We know that it is there. The existence, they exist, right? For our, even for transactional purposes. If that Sat is there, that means the Atma is present there as well. But because they don't have Antakaran, it is not expressing itself, right? Say, suppose there is a mountain. Do you think Atma is not in that mountain? Atma is there in every atom of the mountain. But because it doesn't have a Antakaran, it doesn't represent as a life form, as a living being. Okay, the life form comes because of the presence of mind. Mind means Antakaran. So if the Antakaran is there, only then we will see the life manifesting. So suppose I have this computer and the motherboard is dead, right? No matter how much I plug in, it won't turn on. That means it cannot work without the motherboard. So the motherboard is the Antakaran. So if the Antakaran is not there, then it is a dead matter. It is as good as just the plastic, right? Is it making sense? Yes.
So he says we can it cannot be destroyed by the Pancha Mahabhutas, but the inverse is also true, right? Because we cannot actually destroy any of the Pancha Mahabhutas. We can only destroy their name and form or
yes, very true, very true. We cannot destroy the Panch Mahabhuta because Panch Mahabhuta have they are also powered by Atma only. So they cannot be destroyed in their nascent state, but we can destroy the name and form. That is very, very correct. Nirupamaji. Good. You have been studying well. Panch Mahabhuta is also indestructible. As long as Prakriti is there, they will be there. All right. Okay, so we understand that it is beyond any matter. So Atma is not a matter. If it was matter, it could go through all these changes. But also, if we do the next verse, it is actually a cause and effect relationship. And I'll explain that, so it says, Achedyoyam adahyoyam akledyo ashoshya evacha nitya sarvagata sthanuhu achloyam sanatanaha achedyoham. Now, this is very, it's just a continuation of the last verse. So last verse says, Nainam chindanti shastrani, right? And then here it says, Achedyoham. Achedyoham means it cannot be cut, uncuttable. That's not an English word, but we understand, right? We always make new words for it. So that which does not have any parts. Atma has no parts. It is not a collection of things. See, Shastra can only cut something, say if I have I am a collection of lot of different organs, right? Say head and my body. So somebody chops off my head, then the head becomes, separate from the body. So that is destruction. But Atma has no parts. This is just defining Atma. So when it has no parts, it cannot be cut. So Nainam Chintanti Shastrani is basically saying Acheddo Ayam. Ayam means that or this is uncuttable. It cannot be destroyed by any Shastra. Adahyoyam. Dahya means the fire. It cannot be burnt. So once it says Na dahati pavakah, here it says adhayoyam. This is the effect, basically. That was the karan. This is karya. So if it cannot be na ainam dahati pavakah, then it says adhayoyam. It is not destroyed by fire. Akledyoham. It cannot be destroyed by water. And ashoshya evacha. It cannot be dried by air. So air has the quality of drying everything, so it cannot be cut, it cannot be burnt, it cannot be wetted or dried. And what is the nature of it? It says Nitya, Sarvagata, Sthanuhu, Achaloyam, and Sanatana. Let me just write down, use the whiteboard for that. I'm just liking whiteboard. Let's see. I'm still trying to figure out how to make best use of it. Okay. Let me see how can I start a new one. Anybody has used it before? Okay.
I think there's a clear option, isn't there? Near
That's what I was looking for.
If you click on the edit icon on the left hand side, it will bring up a formatting bar in which you have eraser.
Which one?
On the left hand side, I see a green
This
edit.
one?
And if I click on that, then there's a menu bar comes up. Like if you click on clear, then it should clear the screen.
Okay. If it doesn't, then at least I can do the undo 100 times, it will go through. I'll figure out how to open new ones. All right. Almost done. So we talked about what is the nature of it. It is, so this was Achedyoham, Adahyo, Akledya, Ashoshya, all these things is clear, right? Now let's talk about what is the second line says. It is Nitya. Everybody understand Devanagari, right? Anybody who doesn't? Because I was gonna write in Devanagari. Absolutely. So this I am or Atma, Bhagavan says its nature is Nitya. Then it says Sarvagataha. Then it says Thanu, Achalo, Achalaha, and Sanatana. Let's understand what these things mean. So, Nitya means which is always present. That means it cannot be absent any time. So, when we use the word time here, means Nitya means in all periods of time it is there. There's not a period of time. So there are three ways we define something in terms of time, in terms of space, and in terms of matter. So when I say Nitya, that means it is continuous. It is always there in all periods of time. So it says periods of time. So that is about time. Then it says Sarvagata. That means it is there everywhere. So there is not a place where it is not present. That Atma is present in all, in space everywhere. So it is in time, Nitya, it is in space. Sthanu. Sthanu means that which does not, stha word is used in Sanskrit. Stha means which is fixed, which does not have a movement. You know, from there the words have come like stool, or the words are like even English words like station, you know, or sthambh, which is a pillar, a post, you know, which is immovable post. So that is sthanu. That means it is immovable. Let me write it here. Immovable. Okay. That it is, let's just, instead of writing immovable, let me write fixed or stationary. And it is unmoving. Achala means unmoving. What does it mean? What is movement? Movement is if it is there in one place but not in another place. When it goes from point A to point B, we say it has moved. But if it is something is everywhere, how can it have any movement possible? So that is what Achala means. And then it says Sanatana. Sanatana means the one which is Sanatana actually means ancient, or it means it is unborn, or it has no beginning date and no end date, you know. So it is not, it is all the time. It's all the time, all the places, everywhere. And this is not something that is, which means it is beyond any cause and effect. Or in this case, it will be effect. So point here is that if there is a cause and effect relationship, which means that if it was like, let me give you an example. In some places we say, okay, ये दुनिया कहाँ से आई? उसने कहा भगवान ने बनाया। तो भगवान ने इसको कैसे बनाया? तो उसने कहा भगवान ने इसको अपने आप में से बना दिया, that from himself he created that. So which means either he was using like we say there are three types of creations. One is modification, जैसे दूध से दही बन गई. So first it was milk and then it became yogurt. Now in that transition, the milk is gone, only yogurt remains. So that's one way to look at it. The other way that Vedantins use is the rope and snake example. That there is only rope, but we have the abhas of snake on top of it. That means we are experiencing snake, but it is actually rope. So that's why we have this constant argument with our Vedanta. That, my experience doesn't say that. My experience is I was born and I will die. And I live in between. Whether I get a new birth or not, that is debatable. But at least that is what my experience of life is. And you are saying you are Nitya, Sarvagata, Sthanu, Achala, Sanatana, all these big words you are talking about me, describing me. But I have zero experience of that. So how can I accept your argument that I am that? So that is one big problem. So it is the same thing where the teacher is saying it is rope, but we are saying no, it is snakes, because our experience is very different from the actual. We have forgotten our own true nature, and we are now based on our this image or this thought that I am this, and I cannot get past that. Even though Shastras are saying 1 billion times that you are Atma, you are not this Sharir. But I say, no, you may be right. There is another thought where it says, okay, you know what? I believe that I am Sharir, but I also believe that there is Atma, which is, something there, some unknown X, which is sitting somewhere. And it may be there. I don't know. I don't have the experience of that. So here Bhagwan is saying, okay, even if you don't have the experience, you understand this, that this Atma, which is actually the Jivi, which is enlivener in everything, not just you, in your relatives, in your cow, in your, trees and plants and fishes, everywhere, it is the same Atma which is existing. Because of that, the sense of life is there. Without that, everything is a dead matter. Even the mind, for that matter.
So Rajiv,
mind is made up of subtle matter, but it is still a matter.
So Rajiv, I wanted to ask you in this regard, ki Bhagwan is using the term Atma rather than Brahman, right?
Mm-hmm. He's not using Atma. I am using Atma. Bhagwan is using Jivi and Shariri so far.
Okay.
And then he uses pronouns like Ayam or Enam. I mean, this he's talking about. This means that Jivi, that Shariri, the one who is enlivening you, understand that to be you rather than this body.
Right. So that's the Sarvavyapi, everywhere Chaitanya Shakti, the fundamental primal consciousness. Right. Okay. All right.
So because this The Sarvagata he has already talked about in the earlier verse. In the 17th verse, he says, Yeda Sarvam Idam Tatam, right? It is there all the time, in everything. Tatam is thatness. Actually, if you see anything, if you keep digging down, it is only Atma which is in that form. We are experiencing that Atma as a table, as a chair, as myself, as my friends, family, enemies, everybody is that Atma alone. Okay? Because we, so all these, there is one last verse which will be the concluding of this thought. So far from 11th verse to 25th, it is all about Atma. Bhagwan is trying to say, किस लिए चिंता कर रहे हो? Why are you so worried? Because you are, achedyoyam, adayoyam, aklidya, ashoshya. All these things are your qualities I am talking about. Your means the absolute you, not the what you think you are. So we will wrap up this whole thought in the next class. But we will, if you have any questions, otherwise we will conclude and then we'll take up the questions. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.